Let's record. Okay, Matt. So, look, this is number 2 of our discussion of IQ. And I guess I'll take a little bit of charge over this one because I think my office is better set up than yours. That before we record and we actually run through a demonstration of how an IQ conversation works, I guess we should say several things. One is this is like any other form of risk assessment or any other form of method. Is you have to be prepared. So it doesn't matter whether you're a mechanic and you're about to do a service on a car. You need to have the right tools, you need to have a hoist, you need to have materials and so on. There's no different than any method requires preparation. So if my method is playing the piano, you've got to start by having a piano, a music stand, some music, and some training knowledge, etc. There's nothing that involves a method that doesn't involve preparation. And so just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to take some degree of control over the video simply because my office is at the moment better set up than yours. And so my first point about IQ is setup. And it doesn't matter whether you're using a whiteboard, a piece of paper, or you can just rule up a piece of paper like this, or you can use some of the little cards that are available those little packs. It doesn't matter as long as you're prepared and ready. Of course, the other thing is you always ask permission of the person before a conversation starts. Do you mind if I map this while we go? And if that's a distraction, well, you don't map it. What you do is you hold and retain as much as you can. And then when you go away from the conversation, you do your best as you can on recall and you map in another location. So let's start the demo, Matt. And I was just thinking, because it's getting close to Christmas, why don't we just do a simple conversation about Christmas? So I'll take the lead a little bit here, and I'm just going to put this up here. I'll just put Matt. I think it's the 20th today of the 12th of 22, and the topic is going to be Christmas, but we could be talking about forklift loading. We could be talking about anything. So we've got the board in front of us, and of course, whenever we have a conversation with someone, we usually start in the most secure place, which is the positive physical side of the world. So things like, what are you doing now? Where are you? What did you do yesterday? Those kind of directive type questions that make the person feel comfortable. Once you get a start on a conversation, then you go into the open questions, tell me more, tell me about, etc. So I'm going to start by saying, Matt, how have your preparations for Christmas been going so far this year? So we got 5 days to Christmas, okay? What's been going on?
Well, as you know, Rob, I'm in Adelaide, so the first marker of Christmas is the Christmas pageant in November.
Oh, the pageant, yep.
So for those who don't know, the largest Christmas pageant in the Southern Hemisphere, where
yep.
3/4 of Adelaide turn out to watch the parade down the streets.
Yep.
And that marks the day that Adelaideans put up their Christmas tree.
Okay, so that becomes kind of a benchmark, does it?
Yeah.
So Christmas in Adelaide kind of starts when the pageant goes.
Yep.
When was the pageant, by the way?
Reckon it was November 7th.
Oh. Yeah. Wow. So it's in November sometime.
Yes.
So we don't know, but it's in November sometime. So that gives you a good month to prepare for Christmas.
Yeah, it was set up by John Martins to get the people into the idea of Christmas and spending.
Okay, so John Martin is a retail store in Adelaide, correct?
That's right. Yep.
And this guy invented the the idea of turning this pageant into something that eventually must have anchored Adelaide to him and his store. So very clever idea. Okay, and you say 3/4 of Adelaide come out to watch the John Martin pageant.
That's right. Yep.
Now, is this John Martin still alive?
No. He's dead, and the retail chain was bought out by Myers. So,
okay. So it's now owned by Myers. And how long has this been going on? How long has this been going on for?
this was post-depression. I think 1934 was its first year.
Okay, so let's just put that in 1934 with a question mark. That's good. So we've got the grounding for how kind of Christmas starts in Adelaide, and you say that actually creates, everyone kind of automatically knows. Is this true? That's when you put up a Christmas tree?
It's unspoken, but the tree goes up on pageant day.
Oh wow! So it's unspoken, which of course, if it's unspoken, it's a cultural tradition, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
It's an unspoken cultural tradition, only in Adelaide, because they don't have anything like that in Canberra. And that means the Christmas tree goes up, right?
Yep.
So I've got the Christmas tree. The lights go up as well?
Absolutely, everything goes up.
Oh, okay, lights. And of course, from a retail point of view, commercialism, buying presents, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put commercial interests in the middle here and join that to Johnny Martin's and join that to the Christmas tree lights, because I put that in negative workspace because the Christmas tree lights and the Christmas trees are, in a sense, the work of Christmas, correct?
That's right.
So the work of Christmas. Okay. All right. So that's a good start. So this is something that, and have you lived in Adelaide all your life, Matt?
No, I was born in Melbourne. I've lived in Melbourne, Sydney.
Oh, okay. So you're Melbourne, Sydney, and now when did you come to Adelaide and this became part of your life?
So I've had a couple of stints in Adelaide. So 79.
Okay.
Moved as a kid.
Okay. So this word tradition, and it's an unspoken tradition, isn't that interesting? So no one actually says you have to follow this idea of the Johnny Martin pageant virtually benchmarks when Christmas starts for every person in Adelaide, but we just accept that without question.
It's, why is your tree up so early? Well, the pageant's been.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, let's move from the pageant, and obviously you benchmark that pageant, to Christmas for you, Christmas for your family. So have you put a tree up?
Yeah, our tree was up on pageant day. We've still got a young 10-year-old, so the tradition is still important.
Okay, so I'm going to connect that to the 10-year-old, right?
Mm.
And boy or girl?
Boy.
Hmm?
Boy.
Oh, 10-year-old boy. So the tree is also a benchmark tradition. You're teaching him.
Yes.
Even though the concept of a tree and Christmas tree is a Northern Hemisphere tradition.
So yeah, the snow bound.
That's right. How funny it is, because in Adelaide, people may not know this, but Adelaide, it could just as easily be 40 degrees Celsius on Christmas Day, couldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So we go from November to a hot Christmas, right? And it could be 40 degrees plus, correct, on Christmas Day?
Yep, that's
and
right.
Here's the funny tradition. I'll just loop it down here. We've got a Christmas tree, we've got lights, and we've got pictures of snow, etc. Correct?
We got snow domes as well.
Okay. So this tradition is actually anchoring not just your son, but your family to a Northern Hemisphere tradition.
Yeah.
How fun is that? Except Adelaide, of course, was founded by English people, and so they would have brought lots of Northern Hemisphere traditions with them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, apart from your 10-year-old boy, do you have a unique family tradition that's associated with Christmas that kind of happens? Or do you just have the traditional gifts and presents, Christmas carols, lights and Christmas tree? Is that you just have the typical Christmas?
There's a few traditions that go with it. Is that, you know, the dad's got to put the angel on top of the tree.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna just pop this down here. The angel on the tree. I'm going to put this right over here. So the angel on the tree. I've never heard of that. Why is that something that you do?
I don't know. This is one of those things that
Wow.
family has done. So my grandfather did it. My father.
So it's a family tradition, and it's not the female.
Not the female.
Okay, so we have cultural traditions, and now we've got family traditions.
Mm.
What's a okay? Is that a masculine thing in your family tradition? Is it about power, or why is an angel on the top anyway?
Well, I'll go with power, but I'm also going to link it to probably guilt, and it's their symbolic way of contributing to Christmas.
Okay, is
don't buy traditionally the blokes don't buy the presents or whatever, and they
okay. All right, so we've got the angel. So I'm going to have to ask you this one. I mean, people who are watching this video need to realize that none of this has been worked out. Whenever you do an IQ, you follow the flow. And so my question is, you say the word angel, I've got to ask you, is your family religious?
Yes, Catholic.
Oh, Catholic, okay. And what do we do with this idea of an angel? Is an angel symbolic, or are there real angels?
Okay. I'm answering with my gut is that there's real angels.
Real angels. Okay, so we'll push this over here, and we'll say there's a real thing such as an angel. Okay. All right. So but the angel you put on top is a symbolic of the real, and this is all connected here, correct?
Yep.
So the concept of an angel watching over you is a belief that your family would be anchored to, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm fairly certain all my siblings do exactly the same.
Are your own brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, whenever we get into a sensitive area in an IQ, we generally, and we're in one now, you know, there's those all those sensitive ones we know when we have conversation, sex, relationships and religion and children. The moment you get into those in an IQ, you know that you have to hand over to the other person. So now that I've entered into a touchy area, and that can happen in any IQ listening engagement, and it doesn't matter whether we're into this or it doesn't even matter, because the moment you talk about incidents and accidents and suffering and harm, whether you like it or not, be prepared, because particularly under the notion of suffering, various religious beliefs will come out anyway, particularly if someone's been hurt and you're doing an IQ engagement board. So I'm never afraid of that discussion, but I always hand over to another person. So I'm not going to make too much of this angel thing. I'm actually going to park it there, and I'm going to say, okay, so we've got a tradition that your location, Adelaide, has. We've got a tradition that your family has. And then over here in Headspace, is there a tradition that you personally have that's not associated with anything like that? It could be a simple tradition like, I never work past the 23rd of December. Do you have anything like that personally?
I I myself with the kids put out the carrot and the glass of milk, the Santa and the reindeers.
A carrot,
A carrot.
not a cake.
No, I don't eat cake.
A carrot
Carrot, yeah, for the
and
reindeer.
milk.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish. I mean, we've never had any of these traditions in my family, by the way. But a carrot and milk. Why not a glass of port and a Christmas cake?
Well, it can be 40 degrees.
Okay, so we've got. So you put it out on the kitchen table.
Yep.
In the tradition that Santa will come and eat it.
Drink the milk and the carrots for the reindeer.
Oh, a carrot for the reindeer and the milk, right?
Yeah.
And of course, all your children know that Santa's not real.
Except for the 10-year-old.
Oh, this 10-year-old still knows Santa's real.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got an interesting tension. I'm not going to raise it, but I will do it on another occasion with you. So we have a fictional Santa. Belief in that, but then a tension with a real angel. Interesting. Well, I'm going to save that conversation for later. So this is your own tradition, the carrot and the milk.
And I've got to take 8 bites out of the carrot, 1 for each reindeer.
Oh my God, 8 bites. You guys are amazing. We should have, I mean, I didn't know any of this before we started, but my family has none of this, which is interesting because that virtually shows, because I don't come out of a Catholic tradition either. So my family, we don't have a Christmas tree of lights tradition. We don't have this Adelaide thing. We don't have this angel on tree thing. We don't have, as my brothers and sisters don't. It's your upbringing is nearly completely opposite to mine, which actually raises a very good question about IQ listening. And at the whole time you involve IQ listening, it's not like the normal risk and safety exercise of interrogation. At no time can I make a judgment.
Yeah.
I can save this conversation with you later about the tension between real angels and the fictional Santa, but at no time, if I'm involved in IQ listening, can I make a judgment. There is no judgment in IQ listening. We just listen, tell me more, listen, because the whole purpose in this is the capture, is to capture that one chance. And you can use the board in an investigation, or you can use the board in any conversation. I think for the purpose of this video, having this conversation around Christmas simply allows us to move from cultural space to headspace, to workspace, to negative workspace, and it gives us a wonderful opportunity to see how the board works from group space to workspace, etc. So I can, of course, direct the conversation by my question, or you, if I hand it back to you, you can direct the conversation, and by doing so, you can move away from anything that you think's risky that I may have guided you to, and you can move it to other stuff which is more comfortable and more neutral for you. So at this stage of a conversation, I would probably say, and I would do this in any risk and safety thing, I'd say, okay, Matt, where would you like to take the conversation now? What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, well, I've also got 2 sisters coming over for Christmas with their family.
Oh, okay. So your 2 sisters, and is this also a tradition that family tried to visit each other?
No, at the moment, my father's not well, so we're looking at as many could gather for a last Christmas.
Okay. Now, I'm in the use of the IQ listening process. One of the keys is to wait for a gift, right? Is wait for a gift, and a gift is an unconscious piece of information that was not asked for. I asked you about siblings and sisters and families, and you gave me the gift that your father is unwell. And so in the method of IQ, even though I've handed over to you, in IQ thinking, the moment I get a gift, I chase it.
Yeah.
Because that's your unconscious, whether you know it or not, telling me what's important in your life at the moment. So rather than talk about your sisters, I immediately go to an open question. Matt, can you tell me about your dad? What's happening there if he's unwell?
Oh, he's got dementia, Rob. He's in a aged care home. That's
Yep.
Is in it.
Yep.
He's just come through COVID and pneumonia. Has emphysema. He's living on borrowed time.
How old is he, Matt?
86.
He's 86, and your words were borrowed time. What a metaphor, Matt. Again, in the IQ listening process, you chase the metaphors, you chase the gifts. And so that's a very interesting, I mean, your dad's 86, dementia in aged care, and I don't remember the other things you mentioned. But, you know, we started a conversation about, you know, John Martin retail commercialism, and here we are talking about everything that's far more important than Christmas, and that's your dad living on borrowed time. Is he in Adelaide?
He's in Adelaide, yeah.
Okay, so he's in Adelaide, and your sisters visiting are where? Melbourne or Sydney?
Melbourne and Geelong.
Oh, Melbourne and Geelong. Okay, so are they also coming to spend time with him?
Yes.
Does he know who they are?
No. He can't remember any of us.
Okay, so it's interesting. Your sisters and you have this affection for Dad, but his dementia makes him distant, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And here's another thing in the engagement listening board process, Matt. My mother died of dementia, but normally in IQ listening, you never mention and you do not talk about yourself. And so I come to this point here to make the point that IQ listening and the IQ engagement board is never about your agenda, and it's never about judgment. And when we come into the third part of this video series, we start using OmniGraffle to concept map it, we might come more to that point. Because in the risk and safety world, it's the opposite. Jump into judgment, jump into blaming, and then bring yourself into the decision, or bring yourself or your biases into the conversation. Those three are the opposite in IQ. And when I get to this here, the temptation is, of course, is to jump into your agenda. That's no. So tell me, I've used the word distant. That's my word. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we use the phrase "he's left the building."
Oh, so, you use that phrase that Dad's left the building.
Yeah,
and this is between your sisters.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for using that metaphor?
Yeah, it's kind of showing that his presence is there physically, but he's mental. Okay, you've just hit me on another one. So we have a look at the center of the board, and I see the embodiment, and
yes.
So, we're lacking the embodiment. He's cognitive abilities are very, very small. His long-term memories are the best. And music. So that's where we try and take him.
Yeah.
We
And
find
I'm glad you mentioned this in the middle here, Matt, because this particular icon in the middle reminds us at all time about the embodied person, the fully embodied person, head, heart, and gut, mind, body, spirit. And so it's interesting, you use the word your father's unwell, but it's not just, I think you said emphysema and other things, but this dementia's the big issue, correct?
He's got very, very weak lungs, and dementia is another level of problem with that.
Okay.
Medication to keep his lungs under control, but that increases his dementia.
Yeah. Okay, Matt. So if someone had not been listening into this video, they would not understand what this whole map. In fact, the map looks very messy.
Yeah.
You and I understand what it's about, and if we took a picture of this and stored it in a file, even in 3 or 4 years' time, this would be meaningful. We would know what this means. And so, you know, particularly as I'd say to people on the video, in risk and safety, what this does is it does what many risk assessments don't do. It's visual, it's verbal, it's relational, it's semiotic. This method does 4 things that a checklist cannot do. It's visual, it's verbal, it's relational, and it's semiotic. And by having this simple blank sheet of workspace, headspace, group space, and one brain, 3 minds, we've started a conversation about the tradition of the Adelaide pageant, and we're now at the most important thing in your life.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I do love about the IQ listening tool is that it doesn't direct, when you're using it in safety, it doesn't direct the conversation.
No.
You're not reaching the ultimate goal that you wanted.
No.
Yeah, it's organic and it grows and it takes you places that you've never expected before.
Correct, because unfortunately, the risk and safety industry that's bogged down in behaviorism and engineering doesn't understand that the human unconscious wants to go where it wants to go.
Yeah.
And we didn't discuss any of this, but I must say, if I was in your shoes with a father at 86 who's unwell, it's clear that this is on your mind, despite all the other things that are going on in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any more, and this is the best question to ask, is there any more that you'd like to tell me?
Not today, Rob.
Okay. I'm going to also add a word here, which is not normally a word I would include or do it, but this kind of conversation becomes cathartic, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, once I've stopped the video and I put this video up online, is I'm then going to use a piece of software called OmniGraffle and then put that in layers to show how the conversation unfolded, and then show people on the video the powerful dynamic of advanced IQ listening, what it does. So what we've virtually demonstrated today is this visual, verbal, relational way of thinking using a tool that helps us do that.
Yeah, and once we convert this into the OmniGraffle, it'll allow those people who don't like the messiness of the board a form of control over the information.
Yeah, and I must admit, I mean, we didn't previously talk about this. I had no idea we'd go where this went today. You kind of follow, and constantly there are some other learned skills other than just open questioning, but even simple things like not taking power like you normally do in risk and safety. The risk and safety inspector or investigator comes in and thinks they have to have the power. This works in the opposite: visual, verbal, relational. And what we do is I came to a point and I said, well, I knew in my heart that this is cathartic, because we're at the place that's incredibly sensitive and we don't need to go further. And so when you hand over to the other person in IQ listening, you simply say to them, is there any more you want to tell me? And you concluded the conversation. You closed off the conversation. I didn't do it. In risk and safety, when you have a conversation, I have to keep going till I get the desired outcome that I want.
And that's the big thing in this, isn't it? Is that traditionally the safety person will go out and will question till, yeah, right, I've got an outcome that sits well. It's not the outcome, it's a outcome.
Yeah, correct. Well, and I've never been an auditor in risk and safety, and you have, right? And so you come out as an auditor with a predetermined checklist of where and what you're looking for.
Yeah. And so
there's none of that in this.
I need to tie it up in a neat, tidy bundle.
Yep.
That's accepted by management and the C-suite. Here it is, packaged up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is actually the opposite.
Yeah.
When we embrace a visual, verbal, relational way of thinking, and we start connecting things like, I had no idea when we went to religion, Catholic, sibling, sisters, that all of a sudden out would come father not being well, on borrowed time, left the building. I had no idea we were going here when we were talking about even the tradition of carrots and milk, and the tradition of lights and trees, and the tradition of the angel. I had no idea we were going there. This is what IQ does. It becomes an adventure in what the other person wants to tell you, what they unconsciously want to tell you. And when you gave me that big gift there and that big metaphor there, that's one of the cardinal rules in IQ listening is chase the gift, chase the metaphor. And so that's all I did.
And you chase it by simply...
tell me more, tell me about.
Yeah.
And other open questions. Is there anything more you want to tell me? Where would you like to go with this? Like, that's even a lot of people don't know. That's such an easy question to ask. Okay, here we are, Matt. Is there any more you'd like to tell me, or is there anything you'd like to go with this? And then the other person says, no, I think we've got done enough. Then you stop, because the IQ board is not about what I direct. It's about what your unconscious directs.
Mm.
And so if you wanted to say more, you're quite entitled to say, oh, actually, I haven't mentioned my uncle. I haven't mentioned my brother. I haven't mentioned my mother. It doesn't matter. That's your decision to go where you want to go.
Yeah.
And that's, again, back to the beauty of the board. Now, the purpose of today is not really to pry into a person's personal life. The purpose of the board, this activity today, is to simply show a group of people how the board works. And of course, there are companies all over the globe using this method as a way of helping other people manage risk. And so, yeah, I had no idea. I just thought Christmas was topical, seen as 4 or 5 days to go, and so I thought it might be interesting.
No, it was great. And yes, coming from a large family, having a large family, your board's not big enough, right?
Yeah, well, I guess that there are other techniques and skills. When some of the companies I know that use this, they actually have bigger boards in their rooms. Brian, when he goes out into South Africa and he goes out into the jungle, he takes a little whiteboard with him or bits of card and paper. But of course, I wrote a little bit big because we're on a screen now and people need to see the words. But I could fit a lot more if I wrote in a smaller way.
And there's even with the IQ engagement, just a little workbook that we have.
Yeah.
You just record the single gift on there,
yeah,
and continue the conversation and go back and map it later.
Yeah. And look, because this video is going to be a public video, everyone's going to be able to see it. They need to know that everyone who's taught how to do this, that there's a manual that we give, and there are a series of 15 videos where we coach people how to do this effectively. And so, yeah, that's right. We've got role play cards and all sorts of resources to teach people how to do this, how to use the IQ listening board or how to do IQ listening. So yeah, that might probably do for today, Matt. And then next time we together, we'll complete this out by showing the group how we use a piece of software to turn this map into something that's even more powerful in the way we can present visual, verbal, relational thinking when it comes to, and it, you know, it wouldn't matter whether we were talking about, you know, you had to get your car serviced last week. It wouldn't matter whether we had to talk about, you know, I visited the dentist 2 days ago. It actually doesn't matter. One of the things which happens in the social psychology of risk is we try to refrain from all those value judgments where we are trying to direct the outcome, which often happens in risk and safety when there's an investigation. They actually drive for a predestined or predefined outcome. They don't allow the witness to the event to direct the outcome. It always is controlled by the engineer or the person who knows better. And again, this is another beauty of this particular method. Is there anything you want to say more, Matt, about the method or what we've tried to do today?
No, I think we've summed it up, other than just saying it's really refreshing when you have something that gives the interviewee the power to tell their story in a full open manner, and it allows for much bigger insights into your organisation.
Yes, and I know you've been using it recently in several of your clients, and it's been very helpful. All right, Matt, we might call that quits at that, and then we'll go then to, I don't know, we'll do a part 3 which shows the software, and then after that, I don't know. If people want to learn this particular method, we certainly, you or I, or there are many people can teach it now. They can either teach it through Zoom or they can actually teach it face to face. So we can talk about that later.
With emails on the closing credits.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. We can put the emails on the closing credits. All right, Matt, thank you. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you when we do part 3.
Right. Thanks, Rob.
Okay, mate. Bye. All right, mate. That's good.